Oh, hello, Igor. There you are. How's the show been?
It was interesting. It's one of the most comfortable shows that I've ever attended.
Oh, comfortable.
In terms of how easy it is to get through, to set up the tables,
Okay.
and how conveniently everything is located. I mean, the hotel is right next door,
Oh, yes.
and it's a really nice hotel. I love it. And also, the show itself, in most instances, you have to drive to your hotel to get to the from the show, and then you have to drive again to get to the show in the morning. And sometimes you get into traffic, and of course in the evening you are dead tired after
Yes.
everything. And this time it's right next to the show, so you can just walk. The hotel, you can. It's not in just a walking distance. They are literally connected.
Okay.
So that's wonderful. And also there is a really nice restaurant that we are planning to attend today. It looks nice on the surface. It came pretty highly recommended. So we'll give it a try
Yes.
and see how it really is.
Right. I heard it was called Ralph's American Grill.
That's the name.
Something like
That's
that.
the
Good,
name.
good.
So
Very
we'll
nice.
give it a test.
We'll give it a whack. Yes. All right.
So far, in terms of how easy it was, could not be more pleased. As far as the attendance, it's a little on the light side. I'm a bit disappointed. The crowd was pretty thin, as you can see it.
Yes. Okay.
It was a little bit busy during the day, in the morning.
Okay.
Hopefully tomorrow will be the main day. Everybody is saying that Saturdays better attended.
Oh, Saturday's the
Saturday
main
is a
day.
busier day, for this
Gotcha.
particular show. Every show has its own peculiarities, and this one is no exception. So some of them, Thursday or Friday would be the main day,
Okay.
and at this show apparently it's Saturday.
All right. Now, you have anything interesting today?
Oh yeah.
What do we got?
Well, first I want to show a couple of things that I found here.
Oh, okay.
Unexpectedly. And I put them both here in this display case with Soviet shoulder boards because I could find no other place for them right now.
Okay.
But look at the condition of this bayonet. This is an SVT, and this is the most standard SVT 40, which among the SVT is the most common. But SVT in general is a pretty desirable item and pretty iconic. You've probably heard of SVT rifle that was used by snipers. And SVT was a high-end kind of weapon that not every infantryman would get, even by design. And then, of course, when the war started, they completely stopped the production. It was proven too expensive, too difficult to maintain, just too sophisticated a weapon for most Russian infantry.
Wow.
Some continued using it through the war, especially the elite units, like NKVD, for example, NKVD motorized rifles. But it was phased out. So not very many of them survived, and not very many of the bayonets survived. And even though it's the later version of the two more common SVT 40 bayonets, it's still pretty scarce. But what I really love about it is the condition. Look at the condition of the scabbard especially.
Amazing.
And the blade. Look at the blade. Isn't
wow.
that fantastic?
Wow. No.
Now, this bluing is relatively new. They reblued all the pieces of this nature before they put them in the warehouse. So for permanent storage, it was standard operating procedure that rebluing was done.
Yes.
But everything else is original about it, and this is standard, this is normal, this is what you expect from an SVT bayonet, that it would be black like this, usually preserved in its cosmoline. That's why it's a little glossy. So it had this protective layer
Okay.
of grease on it. You have maker marks,
Oh, yes.
you have inventory number, and it's just fabulous because even SVT 40s rarely come in this shape. The handle, look at the hardwood grip.
Oh, wow.
It's perfect. Doesn't have any chips, doesn't have any cracks
Yep.
that they often have. No significant scratches, just perfect.
Mint unissued.
Mint unissued condition, you can say.
Oh, jeez. Yeah.
And it has original frog,
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
web frog.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a perfect piece. I'm very happy with this find.
Superb.
This is one thing I found, and another one is Mosin Nagant bayonet. It may look odd because this one is for the carbine. And there are really not many of them around. These were used by cavalry mostly. And cavalry played a very significant role in the war as a means of mobility, really. They used horses not necessarily to charge the enemy troops, but to actually get from point A to point B, and oftentimes through terrain that wouldn't allow any other form of transportation. It's pretty iconic. And we do have cavalry sabers from World War II, but to find a bayonet like this, even in imperfect, admittedly, condition, but still pretty nice, it doesn't have any major issues, just a little bit of oxidation here. That's not common at all.
Not common.
Not common at all.
Okay.
I'm very happy. I haven't had one for a long time.
Very nice.
So these are the show finds.
Okay.
Now, as far as what I brought here, oh boy, where do I start? I have some really nice award groupings I want to see, and
okay.
yours as well.
Yes.
And one in particular, I want to see everybody to see first because it's gone. And what I mean by that, as we were driving to the show, we put it on the website just a couple of days ago, and as we were getting here, somebody bought it.
Ah.
So I still have it here with me. It's already reserved on the website, and within a couple of days, it will disappear as we ship it to the customer. But before it disappears, I want to talk about it and maybe demonstrate how seemingly very common things can be extremely interesting and uncommon in so many different ways.
All right.
And this group is a combination of very unusual and rare factors that make it very historically significant, first of all, and also extremely rare as a group with this particular situation. And let me get to it.
Okay. Yeah, so it is
I'm pulling
already.
it from under the table because I wasn't selling it at the
It's
show.
already sold. Yeah.
It's
So
already
you pulled
sold.
it from the display.
Yeah, but
Yeah. So let's see what we got.
Let's look at it.
Let's check it out.
Again, seemingly it's the most common group you can imagine. There are not necessarily dime a dozen, but there are a lot like it. And what I mean is, it's an Order of the Red Banner. Just by the looks of it, you can tell it's post-war.
Yeah.
It's a medal for combat service, and if you flip it, you will see that it's unnumbered. Okay? And what does it immediately tell to most experienced Soviet collectors is this must be, just must be, a length of service group, which is the most common thing you can imagine.
Yes.
A lot of Soviet officers received length of service decorations which would be unimaginable just a year or two prior. In late 1944, in November of 1944, medals such as Combat Service Medal, Orders of Red Star, Order of the Red Banner, and even the Order of Lenin were given for length of service. And if it was next to impossible to receive an Order of Lenin prior, all of a sudden, thousands and thousands of Soviet military men became eligible for it because they had been in the military for 25 years or longer. Anybody with 20-year experience would get an Order of Red Banner. So usually when you see a group like this, it's late war or right after the war, you know it must be length of service. Well, guess what? First unusual thing that I noticed when I got it was that, look, the orders booklet is 1955, but the dates of the awards, and in this late style orders booklet, unlike the earlier ones, they would actually state the date of the award. And the date of award does not mean when the award was handed to its recipient. It means the date of the award decree. It was decreed by some authority. In case of military, it would be a military unit. Sometimes it would go to the highest echelon of the government if it was a very high decoration, or very early in the war, before the war, it was decided on the level of the Supreme Soviet, so which was the highest Soviet legislative government. So there would be some kind of decree issued that bestowed the award. And that's what this date refers to. So we can see that Medal for Combat Service, even though it's unnumbered, was awarded very early, at the time when they only issued numbered medals, in August of 1945. So there's a significant gap, which is already a very, not impossible, but very unusual thing, between the time when the award was bestowed and the award was actually received. Another one is Order of the Red Banner, 30 September 1945. Again, from September of 1945 to 1955, January of 1955, when the booklet was issued, that's a very significant distance.
Yes.
When you look at the award serial number of the Red Banner, Again, you can tell, and the number is of course listed here and on the back of the decoration itself. This is a very late version, comparatively speaking, of the Order of the Red Banner. We know from the records of Mint that this particular piece was produced in 1954. So there is no way that he could get it in 45 when the award was officially bestowed.
I see.
It took many years for him to actually receive it. And we can dig into why and find some additional very interesting information about what actually happened. We went on the Russian archival websites, and we already know about them. We spoke about them in the previous episodes. One is called Podvig Naroda, the feet of the people. The other one is Pamять Народа, memory of the people. And both of them provide a wealth of information. So because we knew the name of the recipient, by the name we could find everything else. And what I mean by that, what that everything else means, is award commendations. And they are fascinating. It turns out that this person, his name is Nikolai Meshcheryakov, which is a pretty common Russian name, was a corporal. That's another improbable thing. Think about it. Officers, commissioned officers with 15 years of experience would get an Order of the Red Banner pretty much automatically. But here we have a corporal, an enlisted man essentially. How could he get an Order of the Red Banner? It was the highest Soviet military order, save only Order of Victory. Even, technically speaking, even such commanders' awards as Order of Suvorov First Class were lower in rank, believe it or not.
I see.
Order of Red Banner was an extremely venerable, extremely high-end, respectable decoration. So how could an enlisted man or corporal get it in 1945? That's mystery number one. We will get to it. What happened? Another thing is Medal for Combat Service. When did he get it? Well, even the dates of the awards kind of hinted at where it could have happened, and it says in the commendation, sure enough, this was for the war with Japan. Now, war with Japan, Soviet war with Japan, was really a blitz campaign. Japan was at the end of its rope. Literally. Soviets invaded Japanese-held territories of China and Korea only after Americans dropped the nuclear bomb at Hiroshima. Stalin was rushing to grab the territory. It had been agreed prior between Allied powers that Soviet Union would join the war on the side of the United States against Japan, with which it had non-aggression treaty. It was understood that the Soviet Union would join the war, but Soviets did not know that it would happen so quickly. That Japan was about to surrender, and they needed to get into action as quickly as possible if they wanted to claim, to have a claim on this territory of North China, Manchuria, and Korea. And lo and behold, 3 Soviet Army Corps that had been assembled or were in the process of being assembled immediately got into action and attacked the Japanese from, we could say, 3 sides. From Mongolia proper, and Mongolian army was assisting the Soviets in it, from Baikal region, and from the farther east, from the Vladivostok area, and they attacked in basically converging directions. Some of the Soviet armies went through desert areas and had to cross the mountains, the Khingan mountain chain, in order to get to the Japanese positions. Others faced fortified positions right away, especially in Korean area, in the area of where Soviet order borders Korea. But in any case, the campaign was on such a massive scale, and Japanese had such a weak force that it only lasted a couple of weeks. It was pretty much over. Soviets got more or less what they desired. They got the southern part of the Sakhalin Island. It's a big island in the Pacific, near sort of between the America and Asia. They got big chunk of Korea, as we know, which later became North Korea. and they got very large territory of China under their control, including pretty close. They got pretty close to Beijing, and that was a huge leverage later for Stalin, and huge instrument of control and installing communist regimes everywhere where they went. But the unusual part is, first of all, because the campaign lasted a short time, and even though it involved a large number of troops, it's unusual, comparatively speaking, to find decorations, especially high-end ones, specifically for this campaign. Because it wasn't on the scale of the previous war against Germany and Germanizing Europe. So fewer troops, comparatively speaking, very short campaign, and now we have not just one, but two decorations for the same 2 weeks blitz to the same person who was a corporal. Like, imagine the odds of it. I can't recall another case. Literally.
Yeah. Okay. Wow. In your 30 years, you can't.
In my 30 years, I can't think of one other case when one person was awarded with two decorations for the blitz against Japan in August 1945, and that this person would be an enlisted man on top of that. Well, let's dig into what he has done. To earn this. He was a sapper. He had no prior combat experience. Another interesting thing. He was apparently stationed in the Far East for the duration of the war. He got called up for military duty in 1939. Probably got some training, we can only guess. He was a native of what was then Voronezh region of Russia. It's now Lipetsk region. It's a little bit to the north of Voronezh, of the city of Voronezh. And it doesn't show anything about his whereabouts or what he did in the interim, but sure, the war with Japan was his first combat experience. He was never in combat. He was never awarded with Medal for Victory over Germany for that reason. But he was showing extreme capability and valor from the first day. On the very first day of the campaign, it says here, he made clearances, he cleared passes in the enemy minefields at the border. At the border with Korea. And not only he did that very successfully as a sapper, but he also conducted the passage. He led the Soviet troops using those passes that he had cleared to get through, to get at the enemy. And that was dangerous kind of role. And he did it with utmost proficiency, with utmost bravery. And for that reason, he was recommended and very soon awarded with Medal for Combat Service. It's nice, it's unusual, it's not extraordinary. A lot of people showed similar heroism. But let's see what happened later and what actually earned him the Order of the Red Badge. While the recommendation of his commander, which was written, by the way, on the second day of the campaign, literally. The first day of the campaign, he clears passes in the minefields. The second day of the campaign, his commander is already recommending him for combat servicemen. They're still on the move. They're still very much in action. He found time to recommend him for this medal. That's kind of unusual. So the recommendation would not immediately be approved. It had to go through the chain of command. So in the meantime, just a couple of days later, here's what happens. His unit was storming a hill. Here's the second commendation, and this one is actually for the Order of Lenin. And this one says that while his unit was storming a hill, and he participated in this assault, on 14th of August 1945, again, we are talking very soon after the start of the campaign against Japan, just 5 days later, he was wounded in his left thigh, and also in his shoulder, and left completely alone. It sounds like everybody around him was either killed or severely wounded. He was literally left alone, wounded himself on the battlefield. Despite that, he, with his machine gun, light machine gun, kept fighting, And after his ammunition ran out, he would go around crawl around, picking up ammunition from corpses of his comrades and from any wounded soldiers who no longer could fight, who were too severely wounded, and continued fighting. He expended 18 drums of machine gun ammunition. 18 drums, killing around 30 Japanese soldiers in this one skirmish. Not only that, but because of his bravery in this fight, because of his heroism, the rest of his unit was able to retreat and take a more advantageous position. He was immediately recommended, he somehow survived this ordeal, and he was immediately recommended for the Order of Lenin, the highest Soviet decoration. Technically, it was the highest, although there was, of course, a hero's tribunal, but that was the highest title. Order of Lenin was technically forever, until the end of the Soviet Union, the highest award of honor. Apparently, and I can only guess as to what happened, while this commendation and the previous one for the Combat Service Medal were considered, he ended up in a hospital, probably far from his unit, evacuated far into the rear, treated for his wounds, and never even found out that he was awarded with these two awards until a decade later.
Amazing.
His unit apparently lost any track of his whereabouts. And of course, in the post-war Soviet Union, it was literal havoc. People were coming and going, people returning from the front, people returning from captivities. Huge, massive from evacuation, families returning to their place of residence that had been overrun by the Germans. So they had to evacuate into Soviet interior. Coal factories were moving back after being evacuated. So it was absolute madhouse for years, and especially in the first months after the war. So it's no wonder that any track of him was lost, and he probably never even found out. As it happened, 10 years later, somehow it was found. Either through the military chain of command, or maybe some of his buddies told him that, hey, we've heard that you were awarded. Why don't you find out? Why don't you go and make inquiries? And sure enough, 10 years later, he gets these two decorations. And this is a complete group, don't forget. These were the only two awards he ever got.
Attention in the hall, attention in the hall. The front registers are now closed. The registers will open again
So,
tomorrow
all in
morning
all,
at 8:30.
a fantastic situation.
Yes.
There is also other possibility, and this is less likely, I admit, but possible. What if he was arrested soon after the war? In 1945, he could say something. He could, so to speak, step on somebody's foot. Maybe didn't applaud loud enough during the speech of dear leader on the radio. Who knows? But it might have been that he got arrested. And for that reason, never received his decorations, because technically he was no longer eligible if he was in prison. And if he spent this many years in prison afterwards, it's logical that he would get his awards at 55, because after Stalin's death, there was a big amnesty of many prisoners, including some political prisoners. And those prisoners who could prove that they were accused wrongly and wrongly incarcerated, they were able, in many cases, to get their decorations that they were deprived of, that were stripped of them. And he might have been one of those people. So one possibility is that he was simply in the hospital and never knew that he received awards. And the other one is that he was one of the Gulag prisoners that were let go in late 53, in 1954, and finally was able to claim his hard-earned awards.
Interesting theory.
We will probably not know for now. Who knows? Maybe archives will further open eventually.
Yeah.
Maybe there will be some more memoirs. There's always a possibility that more information will be found. But it's both, especially the second possibility is to me tantalizing and worth researching.
Yes.
So anyway, somebody lucky enough spotted it as soon as we opened it on the
They got
website.
snapped up.
So
Yep.
sorry to disappoint the rest of you guys. It's no longer
okay.
available, but things like this happened, and I'm sure we'll find more wondrous and interesting groups.
Yes.
And there are a couple of others I can show that are still available,
Mm-hmm.
and pretty interesting as well.
Okay. All right. You have another group, I guess,
Oh,
huh?
I have more than one. There is
Mhm.
an interesting, a bit expensive group to tank. And remember, we discussed that already. That tankers in the Soviet army were not rare. Tanks played a very big role in the Soviet military doctrine, especially late in the war. That's why they stopped using airborne forces as airborne, because they were no longer needed in this role to penetrate enemy defenses. They just used this massive armored assault.
Yeah.
And this would be better than to risk highly trained airborne commanders. They just had enough tanks, and they would deal with any enemy defenses. So tankers were a large part of the Red Army in World War II. But guess what? Very few of them survived. Tanks were a magnet for all kinds of German weapons.
Oh boy.
Tanks were highly exposed in the battlefield, not always very reliable. Soviet tanks were not as great as Soviet propaganda pictured them. So tankers often did not survive the war or were severely maimed. And very few, comparatively speaking, awards to tankers are available. But on top of that, it's almost unheard of to find an early award, combat award, by a tanker who fought from 1941 and survived the war. Most of them were either maimed and demobilized, let go from the military, and never got any awards, or may have gotten one. And most of the awards that we see are late war. Here, it's an absolute exception to the general rule. This fellow fought as a tanker from the very beginning, served as a career officer in the military. This is not the case when he was drafted in the beginning of the war. Again, we have his orders booklet, and we have all the rest of information from the Russian archives. So, born in 1916, he joined the military in 1936. Career officer, he was a senior lieutenant in the beginning of the war, and what he did is absolutely extraordinary. When the Germans practically destroyed all the Soviet armies opposing them in the early days of the Operation Blau, and as you know, Operation Blau, code blue, meant what we now know the Battle of Stalingrad. Germans did not really pay much attention to Stalingrad at the beginning of their campaign of 1942, summer campaign, but they were absolutely interested in destroying any Soviet resistance, and as a far-reaching goal, they had Caucasus, Soviet naval bases. Remember the Medal for Defense of Caucasus we discussed?
Right.
That was the result of their development. And possibly other major cities such as Voronezh, that was in the crosshairs, and eventually possibly Stalingrad. That would be Stalingrad. I think was just the stage 3 of the Blau initially. But the first and foremost, they wanted to destroy any opposing Soviet forces and bag as many of them as prisoners as possible. In the second goal, they did not quite succeed. Soviets had learned their lessons of the early part of the war, the first year of the war, and they evaded in the lines. Although there were prisoners, not as many as Germans had hoped. And this guy played a major role in this allowing the big bulk of Soviet troops to escape into the interior, to escape towards Stalingrad, where the resistance stiffened, and to escape into Caucasus. He was on the southern flank, so he was facing Romanian and German troops that were barreling towards Caucasus. They were already past Rostov-on-Don, and there was no organized resistance at that point. They were facing just fleeing, completely disorganized Soviet troops. In some cases, commanders didn't know where the troops were. The general staff didn't know what was happening with their armies. It was that bad. And German mobility was what really played a major role here. Mobility and air support. And they had plenty of both. He was with one of the small tanker forces that was still remaining combat worthy. and he met the Romanian and German force opposing him head-on. They were in a sort of running battle, and he was able to destroy several German or Romanian vehicles, armored vehicles, with his unit, made a tremendous amount of damage, and stopped them for a couple of days. And those couple of days that he gained were absolutely critical in letting the entire southern wing of the Soviet troops to escape. So absolute war hero, a very pivotal and important fight. It may not sound like too very much. We are not talking Battle of Kursk, but it was armor on armor action.
Yep.
Very fluid, and their whole engagement is very much described in Soviet war commendations. There is even a copy of a newspaper that was published about him. He became a trainer, instructor for tankers. He was deemed so valuable with his experience and his success that they put him in the role of an instructor, and that's probably the reason he survived the war after this first early fight. But for that early fight, he got Order of Lenin, and the Order of Lenin in 1942 was very unlike an Order of Lenin that would be issued in 44, 45. Again, usually, as I said, they were for length of service. What he got was the screwback, so-called screwback. They changed in 1943. But to see an original screwback award Order of Lenin, with its screw post, still intact mostly, you could see that he cut off part of it, and he kind of fashioned a little piece of metal here, so he could wear it with other awards as regulations required as a suspension type order. But this is an imitation suspension.
Yeah.
It's really a screwback, and it's a screwback that remained in its original form, practically untouched, and also in pretty nice condition for screwback. So a really unique piece from so many different angles.
Yes.
A heroic tanker, virtually unheard of to see an early award to one of those, and in wonderful condition. And my strong opinion is that the reason he survived the rest of the war was because they decided that he's better. It's better off for the military if he just trains others.
Yes.
He was so good at it, and that's why the whole newspaper article about him, whole page, it's called nearly whole page, just about this engagement and his skills. It says instructor or upbringer of masters of the tank fight or tank battle. So he's called the utmost guru, the top authority in how to train other masters of tank battle. That's how much credit he was given, and it explains very much his battle against Germans and Romanians in those early days of the battle of what became Battle of Stalingrad.
Yes. See.
So fabulous group. Other awards that you can see here are typical. Their length of service, Combat Red, Order of Red Banner, Medal for Combat Service, of course, Defense of Caucasus because he was on that flank of the whole campaign, and Victory over Germany early issue, and all kinds of Jubilee medals, which is, I shouldn't say run of the mill, but which is something we see normally in larger Soviet groups. 2 Red Stars, one of them length of service, the other one is actually combat, also for the early engagements in 1942. But wonderfully complete, with some photographs of him here as an older man, and here in the early days of his career, just before World War II. Here you can see that he's wearing early model tanker's uniform.
Nice.
So fabulous group as far as the groups go.
Tremendous. Absolutely tremendous. And how much is this group selling for?
I haven't put a price on it,
okay.
frankly, yet,
Okay.
but I'm thinking somewhere in the 11,000 range,
Oh, okay.
11 and a half maybe, because the Orders of Lenin screwback version from World War II in this condition, they're very few and far between. Usually they're heavily damaged.
it's like
There are some nice ones from pre-war years.
yeah.
But there we understand, yes, of course, they were mostly earned by civilians, some by military, but mostly by civilians. And there were better chances of them to stay in original condition. With World War II ones, it's not so. People often wore them on the battlefield. And another major factor here is that people awarded with Order of Lenin during the war, military officers, typically, most of them. Very rarely any civilian would get Order of Lenin. They were typically military officers. They would stay in the military after the war or in the late days of the war. They were still in the military. And they were required by the Uniform Code to convert their Order of Lenin to suspension. So majority of them were actually converted from screwback to suspension. And that means the screw post would be completely removed. There would be usually an eyelet sorted to the top of the badge with some sorter, low melting point sorter. Also, in some other ways, they would be altered. So to find an unaltered one, and also in nice condition, from World War II is very, very uncommon. But here we have pile of factors that make it unusual. It's documented. It's in a nice grouping.
Yeah.
And on top of everything else, the most important thing to a tank for an early campaign that led to the Battle of Caucasus and Stalingrad. Incredible.
Amazing.
Again, I don't recall having quite something like this in at least 10 recent years.
Wow.
So that's magnificent.
That is
For
beautiful.
a serious collector, definitely a group to consider.
That's beautiful.
Fosterer of masters of tanks.
Yes, yes. Fantastic.
Couldn't give it higher credit.
Wow.
And there is more. I mean, I have a very nice grouping with Order of Lenin, but here we have typical Order of Lenin suspension type,
Okay.
length of service. We can discuss them at a later time, perhaps tomorrow or on some other occasion.
Okay.
But we can talk endlessly.
Absolutely.
There's
Yeah.
always interesting stuff out there.
Okay. Well, stay tuned, folks. There's more, as usual.
Absolutely.
All right. Oh, looks like it's close to dinner time.
Oh yeah, they're gonna throw us out soon. But
Yes, yes. Okay. And dinner means what? Wine.
Yeah,
Very good.
I think we earned it.
Excellent. All right, Igor. Hopefully, we will return tomorrow then. Thank you very much.
Everybody.
Okay. All right, Igor, that was a great show.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Thank you for inviting me here to Ralph's American Grill in Wilmington, Ohio.
My pleasure.
Yes. And did you sneak this in?
Yeah, I can tell you that.
The manager was gracious to
allow us
to just review the wine. That's all. It's not a restaurant policy that you can bring your own, booze. So what do we got here, Igor?
Well, it's an interesting wine. It's Centennial Grand Cru, as I say. And what's great about it is that it's a second wine of a very famous estate. And they may actually say it on the back label that this is a second wine of the Fautier course, which is Grand Cru Class 10.
Yes.
It's the highest qualification, highest level approval the wine can get.
Oh, yes.
So,
I
it's
see.
their top-notch wine
Okay.
that get this type. So very beautiful.
This is something special.
They're
here.
very, very expensive. Second wine means it's the same company, it's the same vineyard more or less. It's just not the best part of the vineyard. It's not the top of the line,
Okay.
which would set us back hundreds of dollars.
Okay.
This one is reasonable, and I bet you to try it, you won't be disappointed, but you will be the judge.
Wow. Okay.
So that's the story of this wine. And you can see it's because it's Santamilian, it's on the right side of the river, and therefore it's mostly the Lord, but the Lord is best. It's best suitable, the area is best suitable.
I see. Wow.
The main wines typically Merlot, backed up by something else, like Cabernet, some point, and some and maybe something else. But I bet you this is going to be more than Merlot in your tasting.
Very nice. So very nice.
Shall we try it?
Yeah, and this will be going with our steaks tonight.
I hope so.
Ralph's American Grill. Yep. All right. And you always come prepared.
Whenever you pull this out.
That's right. And once again, folks, it's on the technique.
Now, it's a policy of this show not to allow alcohol in the hall.
Oh yes,
So
that's
we were
right.
deprived of our wine tasting
Yes.
during the show, but that's okay. We can always get shots.
There you go. Very nice.
Let's make sure.
Yes, in the background we have a
Don't do disservice.
yeah, we have a Ford pit car in the back. It is Ralph's garage.
Nice atmosphere there.
Yes, very nice. Okay.
And the court fellow.
Oh, okay.
Runway. I think that's what well. You don't need the court. You see, one thing about red wine, you don't want the cork. You want to actually aerate.
Yes.
So you don't put the cork back in as long as you have Lenin continuously model,
Gotcha.
which I hope you can manage. And that makes wine better. So I don't worry about the cork. I would be worried if it were white wine, because white wine doesn't cloud. You want to keep it closed.
Gotcha. Good
But
point.
not the red.
Good point. More critical for whites. All right, then. We give this swirl.
The aroma immediately, the Merlot.
Yeah. Much more intense, right?
Intense and fruity at the same time.
Right, right.
But not too fruity. Nicely balanced.
Okay.
Love it already.
Very nice. Very nice.
Lots
Whoa.
of tannins.
Oh,
But see how smooth they are? It doesn't like tie your cheeks and tongue immediately. It's like almost velvety.
oh, velvety. That's the
The way
word.
to
Wow.
understand.
It's like smooth.
But tannins are there. Yeah.
Right.
You can see this drying sensation. Here. Right?
Yeah, so it's not harsh at all.
Not touching.
That's the word smooth. Yeah, yeah. This is something even a child can drink. Not that we recommend it, but
In Europe, children drink wine.
right, of course.
So nothing
Of course.
wrong with it.
Yeah, yeah,
And I frankly don't see anything wrong with it either.
yeah. Everything in moderation.
Yeah, prepares them to face it later in life. So
That's
in
right.
college, they don't get drunk out of their mind.
That's right. That's right.
They get an emergency.
That's right. What they understand, they have things under control. You want to control them. Wow. Very nice. Very nice. Wow. Superb.
So far?
Superb. Wow. Once again, folks, we're not just reviewing wine for laughs, Look it up.
Yeah, this is a real deal.
Yeah.
I think it's a bargain because it's a very famous estate.
That's right. Very nice.
Remember what we were discussing about Clos?
Yes.
Like a very Waldorf area. Like very
Yes, that's the
reserved.
word. Close.
So their main estate, their main wine is Clos.
Yes, I see. Wow. 2018, another great year. Wow, fantastic. All right. Yeah, delicious. Yeah, from Ralph's American Grill in Wilmington, Ohio. Cheers.
Here's everywhere.
There you go. I give you one. Mmm. Mmm.
Bourbons in particular, when it's old enough, 6 or 7 years old, to develop this mushroom undertone.
Yes, we're doing great. And thank you, Maddie, for all your help. Yes, how long
You're
have
welcome.
you been working here? How long have you been working here?
Probably a month and a half.
Oh, month and a
You're
half.
doing great.
Thank you.
Yeah, good luck to you. Thank you for being our servant today.
You're welcome. Not a problem.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
You guys need any boxes?
Oh, no. We're going to be polishing this off like Hungry Wolves.
Okay.
Yes, thank you.
Do you think we look like twins?
What's that?
Do you think we look like twins?
I swear to God, I thought she came back and
They're sterols.
Oh, really?
Now, what is your name?
Maddie.
You're also How is that possible? Wow. Wow, that's unbelievable.
We're just best friends.
Okay, just happen to be.
Yeah.
Okay.
I heard you were recording. I wanted to go check it.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is also Maddie, not a twin. It's just a pure coincidence.
Yeah, also like Flor. They're probably being fooled.
I said, wait a minute, what the heck is going on?
That's
how
fine.
long have you, how long have you worked here?
Same same amount as her.
You both came on?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same time
You
we
never
started
met.
working.
Okay, Maddie, so this is not your twin sister.
No, I wish it was.
Oh, my Lord. Wait a minute. Hold
This is
on.
absolutely crazy.
No, no.
How is it even possible?
No, no.
I think they're fooling us.
You're separated at birth.
I agree.
Okay.
I like this though. And I also dyed my hair red.
Okay, okay.
My hair is like naturally brown.
That explains it. That explains it. Okay,
Very
thank you very
beautiful.
much.
Yeah.
Men don't have a clue.
Yeah.
So, you can say that.
That's better than the steak and a wine tonight.
Yeah.
That blew my mind.
I just wanted to come check it out.
Thank you. Thank
Guys,
you.
enjoy.
Okay.
Bye.
Oh, so let me show you the channel.
I know you gave it to her.
I give it to you too.
Okay.
Anyway, thank you.
So we'll be on there?
Yeah, you'll be on there. I mean, the
You're
sound,
actually on two different ones.
the sound may be cracking, you know, but
Why is it a bunny?
oh well. I don't know. It used to be my bunny.
Really? Here, I'll show you my rabbits.
You have rabbits?
Yeah.
Maddie's got 3 rabbits.
What? I have 2 in my freezer, but
No.
Alright, walking away.
Oh, you got 3 rabbits. What are the names?
I have Mabel, Mosey, and Minnie.
Oh, so are they all girls?
Yeah.
That's incredible. Mine's with Nibble.
Nibbles?
Yeah, he was a guy, but no.
Yeah, my rabbit got pregnant on my back.
that you may do that, right?
She had babies under my bed, and they were there for like a month. I had no idea.
That is incredible.
Yeah, that's famous for being prolific.
What a small world it
You
is,
have
right?
like 1 or 2 rabbits and then you have 20.
Yes,
Maybe you
yes.
don't know what to do.
Yes.
Yeah.
It really goes to show that when you talk to people, we have a lot more in common than we have in different, right?
Exactly.
That's it. And then you might find your twin if you look hard enough.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's it. That's it. Well, it could be the same thing.
Yeah, same thing.
That's right. That's right. Well, thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Yes, it's a pleasure. Take care. That, I mean, wow, that
see
blew
that?
my mind.
Yeah. What was that?
No, I swear to God, I thought she came back and just took off her
Yeah, that was my initial joke.
freaky. And the personality too.
Yeah.
Both identical. Incredible. Incredible. Wow. No, wait a minute. Now, who are you? Maddie with one,
Which match are you?
Maddie with 1D.
Yep.
Okay, let's prove that. Let's take a look at that.
1D.
I mean, I can't believe it. Okay. All right then. Well, thank you. Wow. The steak is juicy, flavorful,
Yep.
and well made.
The sides are correct, everything.
Yeah. That's it. That's it. Wow. Ralph's American Grill. Who would have known? Out in the middle of nowhere in Wilmington, Ohio. Right next to the convention hall.
I had this experience once when I was not long in America, and we were traveling with Anna, all right, to one of the shows. I think it might have been Cincinnati. And we stopped at a gas station somewhere in this area of the world, in Ohio.
Right.
And Jenda, the gas station was a veritable paradise. They had
Gas station was a
the
paradise?
gas station. It was obviously privately owned.
Right.
And they made a complete like Garden of Eden out of that gas station. It was full of like incredible things.
Yeah.
Rose bushes and other flowers and peonies and this and that. It was beautifully manicured. And there were like little embellishments here and there, like garden fans. It was so tastefully done. And you wanted to just stay at that gas station and just leave them.
A gas station.
Yeah.
Now, do you remember what brand gas
I
station?
don't. But it was obviously a private franchise
BP, Exxon.
because you could see it was miles
Yeah,
apart from anything else.
that's amazing. That's amazing. And that's why, yeah, just get out and explore. You just don't know. You just don't know
You
what
don't
you're
know
gonna
what,
see.
what wonderful things
You don't know.
you'll find in the way.
That's right. And there's good people everywhere. Absolutely. There we go, folks. La Crosserie de whatever. 2018, a good year. Check it out. It's not gonna break the bank. Igor, to all the veterans from D-Day and World War II.
I'm so much about
Did I get you guys anything else? You guys better.
Oh, it's good. It's good. Thank you. Thank you. Well, pardon me, folks. How was your waitress tonight, Maddie?
Oh, she was terrific. She was really very good, attentive. And where is this going to be?
Yeah, so this is going to be on YouTube. Obviously, you are in attendance at the SOS convention today.
Yes.
Fantastic. What is your name?
Mark Shield.
And this is your lovely.
No, this is just a friend.
What? Okay, your lovely friend.
No, Canadian and American. We're
Canadian?
Just,
Well,
I'm actually not American,
oh, you're American.
but Canadian descent.
Oh, I didn't know that. So that's how we're
Okay.
gonna.
Well, God save the king. Whatever.
Yeah.
That's
now,
it.
yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you.
All right.
And
Enjoy
the
your
show.
night.
Thank you. Oh, hold on. So, I assume you go about picking your wine based on the location.
Location reviews,
Oh, location reviews.
price obviously.
And what?
Price.
Oh, yeah, price.
Plus, there are some that I know.
Okay, yes. And then the familiar ones. So, It's not easy losing weight.
Losing weight,
Yeah. You know, when there's so much good food. You know?
but
The wine.
and weight have got nothing in common. I mean, yes, they do if you eat crappy food, you will get.
Yeah, that's the thing.
But it's not the amount.
Because crappy food is so prevalent.
Yeah.
You know, you're bound to gain weight. But then when you eat, when you stick to good stuff,
Yeah, and good stuff meaning
maintain your weight.
opposite of what you hear
you know,
as perfect diet.
right.
Like contrary, it's contrary completely to common wisdom and to what was advertised and propagated for the last 50 years.
I'll take some plates and you guys' way.
Oh, thank you.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Right.
Are you finished?
The amount of
Oh, yeah. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
I'll grab that one.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You've been most gracious. Thank you very much.
Yes, you're welcome.
Thank you. Wow. Fantastic. There's nothing wrong with polishing off a good dinner with some just plain water.
Well, that's what cognac is.
It's in the digestion,
The
right?
French call it digestif.
Right.
It's actually, yeah, it's called just that, digestif.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's a digestive.
Digestives, yeah.
A little glass of cognac or armagnac or Bar de Bourgogne after the dinner helps you.
Helps you. That's right. That's right.
It's a beneficial.
So brandy would also go, right? Brandy?
Yeah, brandy, like
It's
any
the
brand, it
same
doesn't have to be
family?
cognac. It's specific.
Yeah.
Cognac is brand. It's a type of brand.
Cognac is a type of brandy.
It's just a brandy made in cognac according to cognac standards. It has to be very refined.
Cognac is a brand that made to cognac standards.
Cognac is just one of many brandies,
Great brandies.
but it's made in cognac. That's
Yeah.
why it has the right to be called cognac.
Oh,
It's a cognac region.
it's a higher level of brandy. Gotcha.
And it's the same overall area of Western France, where Bordeaux is more or less, and Armagnac is to the south. And again,
Yes.
to be called Armagnac, it has to be produced in a certain area according to certain standards.
So,
It's
okay.
less refined than cognac.
Let's refine.
It's more like kind of I shouldn't say peasantry, but it's more down to earth
Down to earth.
kind of. But it has more other things. for it.
Yeah. Other things going for it. Yeah. Nice. Oh,
It's, by the way, Armagnac is from the same general area as that wine, Madeiran, that you drunk, like the Gascony, more or less.
okay. Okay.
France.
Hmm.
So
Location.
southwest.
Yeah, location. Yeah. All right, then. That concludes our taping.